Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And welcome to the party, pal. Well, welcome to the party. This video is going to have spoilers for The Last of Us. So if you have not watched the latest episodes or you do not want to be spoiled, you're going to watch it someday down the road. You want to live in a cave, you want to hide under a rock, do not listen to the video beyond this point.
The game spoiled it years ago, okay?
I know, right? But I'm giving people warning because it never felt like people are like, oh my God, you ruined the Return of the Jedi, the ending. I did not know that. Spoiler, Luke was Vader's son.
I know, right?
I've been waiting 30 some years to watch this movie. I just never got around to it. You ruined it for me, Clownfish. Yeah, they're unironically gonna say that. Unironically. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. So we're gonna rip the Band-Aid off real quick. We already give you the warning, right? Joel dies.
No, I never. Guess what? The end of Titanic, the ship sinks.
The ship sinks at the end of Titanic.
I'm like, of course he did.
And now people are mad. They're mad because he died like 2 episodes into season 2. I'm gonna be completely honest. I did not think they would kill him off that quickly because it's Pedro Pascal.
I honestly am not surprised because he has some other projects going on. He probably needs. I was wondering how he was going to do it all. His character dies. He died early in the game too, didn't he? It was early on.
Yeah, but
so it's like that's a catalyst for some other stuff that happens. But people hated it then. They hate it now.
Right, and people are legitimately upset. I'm like, did you not? No, like I guess I'm thinking. You know, a lot of people that watch the show are not game players, right? So now they had,
but it was all over the place when it happened in the game. It was like if you follow pop culture at all, there was no way you could avoid that.
Well, that's the thing. This show is for normies, right? Normies watch it. They don't play the game. The game has been out there for 5 years. It was a huge controversy. We've got multiple videos about it. People hated it then. They hate it now. And they had a chance to fix it. They could have fixed it. They could say, hey, we're going to deviate from the game.
They could have, but they didn't. And here's the thing gets me is that now they're blaming gamers for it again. And it's like, you know, it's like this. I think you said you had, Pitmaster Broda had said, it's true. You had the fact that people hated it during the game and they hate it when it's the show, and they're 2 different audiences and they both hate it. So maybe it's because it sucks and not because of gamers. Maybe it's people who that was a Druckmann or whatever.
Yeah, Druckmann.
Maybe it's your fault and not everybody else because you have 2 separate audiences, and it doesn't seem like they crossed over much, which is why everybody's surprised that he died. And it's like both audiences didn't like it.
Yeah, and look, they could have made changes to it. They made changes to The Walking Dead. Like, they deviated wildly from the comics with The Walking Dead. But, you know, like The Walking Dead, when you kill off beloved characters or sideline them or whatever in the show and people become attached to them, what's the point? There are people out there saying, what is the point of even watching this show now when people are deeply invested in Ellie and Joel and you kill Joel off? So now what? Are they going to force you to like Abby like they did in the game? Like you got to sympathize with her, right?
Yeah, because you better like that or you're a terrible person. That was the whole thing. You missed all that apparently if you didn't know about this. But yeah, now you have 2 different audiences that are clearly different audiences because they didn't know. I mean, obviously the people that are watching the show are shocked because they didn't know the game, which is weird to me, but okay. So they're 2 separate, completely different audiences that did not realize they didn't have very much crossover. How the hell is it gamers' fault? Is it still gamers' fault?
Everything's gamers' fault, right? Gamers actually, like, maybe actually this might backlash. I'm thinking what might happen is all the normies will be like, oh my God, the gamers are right. This is a shit decision. What else are gamers right about? What else were gamers right about? Right? Because they'll be like, wait. Because the media tried to defend it. So, like, they were like, if you hate this plot twist, you hate women. Now, it did not help that in the game, Abby looked like She-Hulk.
Dude?
Abby looked like a dude. A lot of people thought Abby was trans or something. And then, unfortunately, the voice actress, she got dogpiled. I mean, it was a mess. It was a mess. But, you know, that just shows, like, how deeply invested players were in that game world. And then you just, like, spat in their face and said, yeah, whatever. Main character's dead. Whatever. Deal with it.
Right. You know? And it's just like, but now you have it in 2 different audiences.
Yeah, so, and this is the normie audience. This is like, I mean, you could quarantine it to gaming, but now you're talking the moms and the grandmas that watch HBO, and also you have a bunch of Pedro Pascal stans who, like, I would not have gone there this soon. And people said that they were shocked. They were like, man, they really are kind of following the game, because it happened so early into the season. They thought they'd save it for like the end of season 2 or something. And that makes the most sense. But I guess they just didn't want to pay him for the rest of the season.
I think I'm right. I think it's because he was, Fantastic Four. He got the Mandalorian Grogu. Even though most of the time, I guess he's not even the one in the suit, but he gets all the credit. I'm sure in the movies, the helmet's going to be off all the time. And they have all these other things that he was working on, because he's in everything now for some reason I can't comprehend. So he's probably using that time to go do other projects. So he was probably okay with it, because he's like, I'll give you one season, a couple episodes, and then I can go do something else, which anybody who played the games or followed the controversy of the games would have known this was going to happen.
Yeah, the show's, for a lot of people were saying the show's not going to be worth watching. And I don't know if he was trolling or not, but Cat Turd on X was talking about it, and he's like, I don't play the games as watching the show. I like the show, and now I have zero interest in watching it.
Yeah, well, that's probably going to happen a lot.
Because it was the Pedro Pascal show. Now he's gone. Valerie's family. That's what they could do. Joel's family. So it's weird. We were talking about Destructoid yesterday and how they hardly have anybody writing for them. But I went out and I found this article. Hello, The Last of Us TV show fans, and welcome to the Abby discourse, now with added vitriol.
Yeah, because they don't like Abby now.
Yeah, they don't. And again, Pedro Pascal, weirdly enough, he's a 50-year-old dad bod dude, but he's got a lot of stans.
I don't get it.
If
you find Pedro Pascal attractive, okay, good on you. I don't see it. I'm sorry. I cannot. And I thought it was funny they gave him a lie detector test and they asked him if he thought he was hot, and he said no, and they said that's a lie. And I'm like, okay then. He thinks he's hot. I don't understand it, but
I remember because I didn't know who he was when the Mandalorian dropped and they unmasked him, and I was like, wait, that's the Mandalorian? I'm like, this guy looks like a janitor at a middle school.
Yeah, right.
Like, this is not, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand. I don't get it. Anyway, so one of the most shocking, amazing, polarizing scenes in gaming is now shocking and polarizing a new audience for TV show watchers who are blindsided by the twist that's already the stuff of legend in gaming history.
I know. I don't understand how you don't know this, because like I said, if you were on pop culture anything, you would have seen the headlines, back then. But like you said, normies aren't watching. Well, that just proves what we've said before. They're like, YouTubers ruin everything. Well, clearly not, because the audience didn't even know about it. So if everybody was watching YouTubers and they're hating everything because of YouTubers, then how come this whole audience didn't know about Joel being killed? Please explain.
They don't. And a lot of people, they might have actually, if they got into the show and they wanted to remain spoiler free, they might have just opted not to even Google the game. Some people, honestly, God, there are probably a lot of people that don't even realize it's based on a video game. They're like, oh, it's a zombie show.
Right. That's what I'm saying. But their argument has always been, like the media, and their argument has always been that, they're trying to, control the narrative because everybody reads them. Well, clearly they don't. And if their argument has been that, YouTubers ruined everything and they're the ones that ruined the game and ruined, turned the mainstream against everybody, that clearly can't be the case, because had the mainstream been watching YouTubers or reading their journal, their pop culture blogs, they would have known all about this. But they didn't, which tells me that everything that they try to argue and blame on YouTubers and gamers and stuff is clearly not true. You just owned yourself. Good job.
Well, it's going well. This comes from Destructoid, linked to some of the vitriol here. They're like, welcome to the party. The guy's like, oh, I watched with my girlfriend. She didn't know anything about the games and she was really upset by it. Fuck Abby, fuck Abby, fuck Abby, fuck Abby.
Yeah, they were all upset because people were mad about Abby before. And they didn't even do the whole, like you said, they're doing the whole trans, like potentially trans thing in the show.
Apparently she wasn't, but people thought it was like,
people were thinking it because she looked very manly, because that was back when women, to make sure that you're a strong female character, you have to be fugly.
You have to be extremely buff, and also she took it from behind.
Right, but it's just like, they're now they have it all over again. I mean, they should have expected this.
Yeah, well, they didn't. You don't get the rush this. I gotta look at some of these comments. This is the last. Okay, fuck Abby. I always expect it. just not in the second fucking episode. Yeah, that was kind of where I was at. I was like, because I thought they were talking about they were going to make changes to the story, and basically the change of the story was you got the whole explanation as to why Abby did what she did to Joel early on. It wasn't like drawn out like, oh, now I get why she hated Joel. It was like, oh yeah, I hate Joel. You're dead. Boom.
Yeah. I mean, but I do think it's more to do with the fact that he's probably busy than anything else.
Yeah, I know, right?
I really think that's what it was.
He'll come back. They'll just put a bag on his head. Yeah. That was like the Mandalorian. Like apparently he wasn't in a lot of the episodes.
No, he wasn't. It was the double that would
it was a stand-in. He just has the voice. He'll come back in flashbacks. He'll be a what did I say? Like a force zombie, plant zombie, fungus zombie thing.
No, he won't. But anyway,
yeah. Now I remember why the second game didn't do well. The first game 26 million units. The second game did 10 million units. They made it so much worse. Show is dead now. I was expecting more impact. Rush what? I can tell the dude in the wheelchair. These hold on. Like viewership about the plummet. Joel.
Celebration of life.
Celebration of life. I don't see how the next episode can surpass this one. Well, yeah, it's pretty much over at this point. I thought for sure that they would wait, but they did not. So people are not happy. This I thought was kind of interesting too. This is going around. She's on the cover of Vogue. Bella Ramsey, a star for now. People are like,
that's what it says on Vogue, or did someone do that? Someone did that. Because look, they're doing, they're just changing it.
No, I think it's Bella Ramsey, a star, ... for now. For now.
I don't think that's what it says. But anyway, if it does, someone's going to be in trouble.
I believe it's legit. I think it's legit.
Oh my gosh.
People said that it was very ill-conceived of them because there was no ... It's kind of like a star for now, but could also read a star for now. So just Destructoid. Many experiencing Tlu 2's story for the first time have been shocked and appalled at Joel's brutal death. Spoiler, especially so early in the season. Felt that way in the game too.
Yes.
And the game, it kind of like, there's a difference between the game and the show though. Well,
the game you probably played longer than you watched the show at that point. So it did seem like, it was early on, but it was like you still had more time invested in it than you've invested in the show.
There's a general loud dislike for Bella Ramsey's performance and casting as Ellie, wrapped up in the shock of the death scene, which will probably create even more toxicity in the fandom for the show than we experienced in the game, where Ellie is pretty universally loved. And that's without even getting into the hatred that Abby has received. They're going to go after the actress, or actor. I don't know. I think Bella Ramsey is a they, them. So I'm not sure exactly.
Am I shocked? No.
Yeah. People did not like her casting because they said they don't look anything like, actually the girl playing Abby looks more like Ellie did in the games. Mm-hmm. And Ellie was apparently, so this is where you can go down a rabbit hole, because Ellie was apparently based somewhat, I think, on Ellen Page. And
really?
Now Ellen Page is Elliot Page. And then I don't know, whatever. It's really wacky, but yeah, the show's dead. Like I don't see how they're going to be able to salvage it, because a lot of people watched just for Joel, for Pedro Pascal.
They're just mad. They're so mad at the game. Like, people didn't get past their hatred of Abby even after playing that game, and then they did the show, and now people are in the same camp. And it's like, because the stories they don't like the story. Okay, I'm sorry if you're really, really ass mad, Destructoid. I don't even know who the person's name is. Idiot Destructoid. I'm sorry you're really, 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 really upset about it. But again, as to what Pitmaster Broda said, you cannot blame it on gamers this time, because it wasn't the gamers had anything to do with it. You can't. It's the general audience of normies who did not play the game and did not read your journal or watch the YouTubers that you always hate so much, or they would know about it. They struck out with two separate audiences. The first game did great. The first series, the first season, great. Second, you made these changes in the game. People hated it. They made the changes in the show. People hated it. Maybe it's on them and not on everybody else. So maybe stop blaming everyone else. It's not about bigotry. It's about poor choices.
Yeah. Broda's right too. He said a lot of people working in the gaming comics industry are using it as a step stool to get into Hollywood. They hate gaming and comics. Yeah.
Yes.
But the
thing,
I
told you that years ago.
Yeah. And that's Druckmann. Druckmann seems like he's more interested in doing movies than he is in making video games. And they're even saying that they don't even know if they're going to make a Last of Us Part 3. Like,
Well,
where
they
do you
probably
go?
won't now because no one's going to watch it. The viewership's going to be interesting after this because a lot of people are out. But if you, like I
Yeah.
said, again, if they had paid any attention to the gaming discourse, they would have known about it, which again proves that they cannot blame gamers for everything because they clearly didn't tank this.
Yeah, I would have taken. I mean, look, you don't want the audience to always dictate your content, but when Abby was so universally loathed and that plot twist was so universally loathed, even by your audience. I mean, you're talking Last of Us Part 2 sold less than half as many copies as the first game.
Mm-hmm.
I would have been like, you know what? Maybe this wasn't a good idea. Maybe we can actually tweak some things. Even if we do it in the show, let's make it better. Let's handle it better than we did.
Nope.
Nope. Nope. We're not going to
No lessons were learned. And once again, they're going to blame gamers for it, YouTubers for it, that kind of stuff. And it's like, no, you don't get to do that. You've already proven that that's not true. You've already proven that people don't read your rags or they would have known about it during the game. You know,
yeah.
it is what it is.
It was done in a more ham-fisted manner. Yeah, because she flat out, because it's TV, she's flat out like, you killed my daddy. And then, and they draw that out in the game a little bit. And it's like, yeah, I mean, the thing is, the game asks you to sympathize with Abby. You play as Abby.
Right, but they don't have sympathy for Abby now.
Nobody's going to watch like several Abby-centric episodes of
No,
The Last
and
of
it's
Us
like,
after
you
she
can't,
did
are you
this.
going to blame the audience all bigots and jerks now? Because last time your argument was, well, you thought she was trans and she wasn't because you're a bunch of istophobes. What's your going to be excuse this time? How are you going to vilify the audience now?
I'm sitting here thinking like, yeah, you should make, like, when the Superman movie comes out, like that scene we saw where Superman's dying in the snow. That's the beginning of the movie, and then Superman dies, and then it's just a Lex Luthor movie for the rest of the movie. We're just gonna follow Lex around the office. You know, that would actually be kind of funny. Like, oh, you expected a superhero movie? Okay, sorry.
Be a parody episode though.
Oh, that would be great. Yeah, but it's not going well. Then we have this. We have the 5 stars of triumph. This guy's twice. Leo R, 2 5-star reviews. How is that possible?
You know how it's possible.
On Rotten
it's one
Tomatoes.
R. They both are. It's one H and one R. I don't know. I'm just like, I couldn't see it on my screen, but it's just like, you'll see this all the time that there's people who never reviewed anything and all of a sudden everything's like either 5 or like half.
Yeah.
You know, it happens a lot when they do this. Rotten Tomatoes is a joke anyway. Don't even
it's a
believe me,
joke.
Rotten Tomatoes. I just use it as an example, but don't even.
I'm waiting for people to be like, it's all gamers they're review bombing it. I'm like, no, I think this is the general public. These are average
Gamers already
HBO.
checked out and moved on.
They checked
Gamers are
out.
probably most of them. Some of them are probably watching the show because they liked it. They liked the game. But a lot of people were probably not even going to bother because they already knew what happened, or unless they were watching to see if they changed it, which they didn't.
Yeah, they said they were going to, but really all they did was make it worse.
Yeah,
because it was really ham-fisted. I, honest to God, like I need my faith in humans is misplaced. My faith in Hollywood is misplaced. I, honest to God,
yeah, you had faith.
I thought
First of all, that's your first problem.
I thought because the show was so popular and a lot of people liked Pedro Pascal and he's basically carrying the show, I thought that they would at least hold off on his death until the end, or they would split the game into like 2 parts. They'd rework it, something. I thought they would do what they could do to keep him in play longer. I'm like, oh, they're not going to kill Pedro Pascal. He's the reason a lot of people watch the show. They're not going to kill him off two episodes in it. Oh, no. Nope, they did.
I'm actually not surprised because I wondered how he was going to get all his stuff done. So I was like,
AI.
you know, and when they went
he's
to
not
filming
real.
this, he was probably doing, you know, other things that are coming out. So I figured that I wondered how they were going to do it at all because I knew it was such a controversial thing. But I kind of figured they were going to have to do it because he was busy.
Yeah. They said basically that shows, this is coming from the Independent, which is actually a left-leaning outlet. And they said now that they got rid of Pedro Pascal, he's kind of the glue that was holding the show together, and there's no reason to watch it. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, that's not good. Good luck with that. Good luck with all of that. We're gonna wrap it up.
Yeah.
Let's wrap it up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.